Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday evening. Yesterday I spent from about 8:30 until 1:30 in the yard. Got all my trimming done, yay. And my husband got the yard mowed. He came home and did that after work. And then yesterday evening we got a major thunderstorm. I did not have but just a teeny amount of hail, thank goodness. And there was an issue that I don't think I told you about that happened over the weekend. Oh me, there's always something. Every day there's something going on. Anyway, we were sitting in the garage during the garage sale. And you know how you're just trying to pass time in between customers. And I kind of looked up at the garage, where the garage door is, and Oreo's down here by me, in case you wonder why I'm looking down. And I noticed that the bracket from where I was sitting, the right side, which would be the left if you were coming in, was broken. And I told my sister and Suzanne, I think there's something wrong with our garage door. And the funny thing is I had not noticed it while lowering and lifting the door. So, of course, we kept the garage door open during our sale, and that evening when we were picking up, I came into the house and I said to my husband, could you come out to the garage for just a minute? I'm always a little bit wary of telling him things that might be wrong, because it seems like sometimes the only things we say to each other is when something needs to be fixed. It's terrible, but you know how it goes. Anyway, so he came out with me and I showed him and he said, yeah, I'm really glad you saw that. So he called the next day, well, not the next day because that was Sunday, but he called yesterday, and of course they were busy. You can hardly ever get anybody to come the day that you call, which is understandable. But they came this morning, and I told him about I'd had a bad daydream that the garage door had fallen on the car. So, you know, anyway, he said, well, if you would have left it, it could have happened because it could have broken loose. So anyway, gracious me, it is fixed. You think the Lord doesn't work in mysterious ways? Why would I just happen to look up there? Anytime during your life, if you ever think God is not listening or God is not taking care of you because things are not going right, then these little things happen, and I do not call them coincidence. It's just not. Trusting in the Lord means that you give Him your whole life and He will take care of you. And that could have been a bad deal. You know, what if John had been out there and was lifting or lowering and it would have fallen? What if I had been in the car and driving out, it would have fallen? You know, there's the what ifs, but there's also the being taken care of. And you know, it was just so weird. It was just kind of random that we were just sitting there and I just happened to look up. Sorry, like I said, I live on a highway, so we get all this noise, and saw that, and I'm just eternally grateful. Thank you, dear Lord, for letting me see that. So it is fixed, and I had to wait a little bit before I did my walk this morning. I didn't get to walk till 10 o'clock, and that is too late. It's just still the time of year that I need to go pretty early in the morning to escape the heat. And it really wasn't that bad. It just that, you know, I perspire a little bit more at 10 o'clock. And plus the sun rays, you know, get a little bit worse after 10 o'clock. So I need to get that done for skin saving reasons, but I certainly want my vitamin D. the best vitamin D you can possibly get. All right, so what am I up to today? Well, right now, my little friend and I are sitting outside, and I am looking at magazines, and I'm getting ready to read, and I'm listening to one of my podcast preachers. I like to listen to J.D. Farag. He's a Hawaiian preacher. Actually, he's not Hawaiian. He lives in Hawaii. He is from Lebanon. He was born to an Egyptian father and a Jordanian mother, but so his family came from Lebanon. So he's Lebanese, I guess, but not by nationality. Anyway, he's a very interesting preacher and very, very, very much into Bible prophecy. So if you kind of enjoy Bible prophecy, he's a good one to listen to. He gets a little animated a little bit sometimes, but he knows his stuff. He really does, and he's enjoyable to listen to. Anyway, he's married to a Hawaiian lady. His wife is Hawaiian, and so I guess that's why he now lives in Hawaii. I think that would be so cool. All right, so anyway, what I am been up to today is the things that were left over from the garage sale that I thought were a little bit more special, clothes-wise and shoe-wise. I have been putting those on POSHMARK. So if you're into POSHMARK and eBay and you want to see what I put on there, I have that listed down in my description box. You can certainly go look at those and see. A lot of the things are from like Talbot's and shoes, or there's just a variety. I don't have a ton of things on there, but I do have a few J. Crew things. I also took some things off of POSHMARK because I'm going to go try to sell them at Plato's Closet. I have talked about that before. It is located in the city. And speaking of the city, I will be going Thursday to be with my sister. We're back to our old way of doing things. Summer is coming to an end and all the kids are back in school, so we're going to go back to Sister's Day, and she's going to get her vehicle oil changed, and I go pick her up at her dealership, and we spend a few hours together. So I will be taking the things that I don't put on POSHMARK to Goodwill. It always kind of makes me sad to get rid of things, but I know that it's good to clean out and refresh, and that always feels good to do that. So I will probably spend the rest of tomorrow putting those things on POSHMARK, and I'm sure there's some other things I need to take care of before I get back into my jewelry making. I thought I was going to start doing it this week, but it just didn't work out. So I had been being a little bit blue about not being able to sell my jewelry and stuff. And here's another God wink. I got a message from a cousin of mine who had seen my jewelry on Facebook, and she wanted to buy one of my bracelets, and then she wants me to make her mom, my aunt, a bracelet, and I am just absolutely thrilled and delighted, and I want to do that, and just so excited that she wanted to buy something from me. And of course I always give a little discount to my friends and relatives, and I don't charge what I would like to have for it, but I am so excited that she wanted something. So that kind of relieved me of my being blue about doing or about selling my jewelry. So yay. Every little bit helps here and there. And I've still kind of wondered, she is playing with my shoe. What are you doing? She's never done that before. Oh, she's a funny girl. She must be kind of bored. I really don't want to be scratched, my dear. No, I don't. She's been playing with the hibiscus things that fell on the deck. I don't know what she's doing there. She's really having a time. I don't know. She's just got a lot of energy all of a sudden today. Crazy. Anyway, I forgot where I was headed with my thoughts. So I have been trying to think about, do I want to do this craft show in October, which will cost me, like I've said, $170 for a day and a half. And I just don't know if I can justify it or not. And of course, all my family says go for it. But, you know, I don't want to lose a lot of money. And I know that I won't make a lot of money because it's just, jewelry, as I've said before, is frivolous. It's something that I like because it's artistic. But how many necklaces do you really need, you know? So I know that people are limiting themselves on jewelry these days. Anyway, let's get off of that. All right, I am wearing an orange shirt. This is actually a man's shirt, and it came from Target, and I absolutely love it. And the fabric is so much better than some of the women's clothing. I have something to show you. I don't know if you'll remember or not. When I was out yesterday doing my trimming, I did a thing. We got quite a bit of rain last night, so the ground is damp and not cracked. Usually it's got cracks all over it. And oh, my zinnias that my sister-in-law gave me the seeds for are coming up. I don't know when they start to bloom. I know zinnias are pretty tall, so I don't know how long it will take. She always has to go walking with me, so we'll just see. But anyway, around this corner, I had a boxwood. And I think I showed you last time. Well, I just looked at it and thought, okay. I had asked, does anybody know about boxwoods? Can you trim them? Well, I gave it a haircut. I mean, I went after it with my trimmer, and I knocked it down pretty good. If it dies, I'm not going to be super sorry. I know it looks horrible. It can probably breathe now, poor thing. But yeah, I know, Oreo. I know. But it was just humongous. I mean, it went from nearly that side of the tree clear over here. Now there's space. Maybe my daylilies will now be happier and they'll be able to breathe. I mean, they're not going right now. They're laying flat on the floor, but probably, or excuse me, on the ground, but probably because they weren't getting enough sun. So maybe with this bush being trimmed, they will do better next year. We'll see. I hope so. Anyway, that thing came clear out to where the shadow of the ground is. That's how much it was growing out from the edging that we have around the landscape. You know, this landscape edging. And I know it looks bad, but we're going to give it some time. You're probably not supposed to trim them until probably spring, but I don't know. It was driving me nuts. I thought, okay, I had a little bit of time yesterday, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I am going to give this baby a haircut. Anyway, I don't know if that was a good decision, bad decision. I don't know, but we shall see. We'll see if that was a good thing or not. But anyway, I also have a hummingbird, and I will include that video. I was so excited to see the hummingbird. And when the grass is newly mowed, good to have the grass mowed, the edging done. And I took over the edging, I guess it was 3 years ago. My husband he was too tired. He spends about 4 to 5 hours mowing, because not only does he have to mow the front yard and the backyard, but he has to mow the ditch area. Or we do. Some people that are around us don't, because they think that's city property. But I like for my home to have curb appeal. I don't care where. So, yeah, I decided that, yeah, we need to mow it, even though it's not probably something that's ours to mow. Anyway, he just gets super tired, so I do the edging. And it is unbelievable how quick the grass grows back up towards the landscape rail. I leave a little distance for growth because it happens so quickly. So anyway, yeah, it's just so pretty when the yard is mowed. It's about 7 o'clock in the evening. Sun is going down. It is super bright up there. Ugh. And still quite warm. But I love to walk around in the evening, especially after I've been out working in the yard and spending a lot of time getting it to look good once again. This is just, well, it is something else to take care of. I used to pray for a garden in a yard because we had a small one in our previous home. And that, be careful what you pray for, because you might get the answer. And boy howdy. I enjoy taking care of it, but it makes me so tired after spending 6 hours or so. Yeah, it is quite something. Yes, and she's still following me around. It's kind of fun when she follows me around the yard. She doesn't always do it, but she seems to have a lot of energy today, Miss Oreo. What you say, Miss Oreo? Huh? What you say? What you say? What are you up to, huh? And then I walked through a spider web, so I had to throw my hair over my head and get the spider web out. Good grief. Blech. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be up to the rest of the week. And then Suzanne will come home Friday because her daddy's birthday, my husband's birthday, is on Saturday. And I'm not sure what we're going to do. He doesn't ever want to do anything, but my thoughts are perhaps he loves sausage on the grill. So if I get to go to the grocery store, which I desperately need to on Thursday, I could get some, the link sausage that's in a U shape. That is his favorite sausage. And I cut it up and do it on the grill, and he just raves about it. I will not touch it, but that's okay. It's not my thing. I'm not a big meat eater. Oh, here's my hummingbird again. They are so fascinating to watch. It's just funny, they don't stay around very long at all. They take their drink and they are on their way. And I'm also hanging the hummingbird feeder in a different place because I've got Mr. Owl where I used to hang the hummingbird feeder, and now I'm hanging the hummingbird feeder above plants, which I heard that was also a good thing to do because they're attracted to the plants. So maybe that will help to keep him or her around. All right, so anyway, yeah, that will be what we're doing this weekend, and hopefully he will let me take him to a steakhouse for his birthday. He will be 70 years old. He is about 2.5 years older than I am. I'm 67, which means 3 years, but then I'll be 68 in March. So yeah, we're about 2.5 years apart. Not quite, little over 2.5 years apart. But anyway, 70. Man, I used to think people who were 70 were ancient. Now I think, well, you know, they're pretty young. Now for me, 90 is old. So if I get to be 90, if the Lord still leaves us here on this earth, I hope I will still be able to be on my own and do things and go places, and I still want to do my art. I hope I will still get to do that at 90. Yeah, if I'm still here. Now look at Mrs.
She has decided to go out and sit by herself on her own in the yard. And then pretty soon she'll be back up here with me. She's so funny.
Hopefully then next week I will be able to get things out. I had wondered, do I want to paint or do I want to just work on jewelry? And now that I have a job of making my aunt a bracelet, I think that answered my question. I guess I will be getting out jewelry supplies, which is fine with me. I just can't believe my daughter had her first day of school today. The school year begins in her town, and the school here in our little town begins tomorrow. And like I've said before, my husband is in administration. He takes care of helping with testing and pest control and all the stuff in the school that nobody else wants to deal with. And he doesn't have a particular title. He's just administrative duties. That's just his thing, is what he calls it. So anyway, I'm also watching a lot of butterflies. The butterflies are really pretty. It is a beautiful evening, so I will talk with you again very soon.